Your launch made zero sales and you're convinced that your business is broken. But what if I told you that based on dozens of launches that I've post-mortemed, your whole launch probably didn't suck? In this video, I'm breaking down my exact 4-level post-mortem response process to diagnose what actually went wrong and the specific fixes that'll get your next launch back on track. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Haley Dale, a content and marketing strategist for coaches, course creators, and service providers. Today, we're talking about what to do when your launch makes zero sales, because let me tell you, this happens to the best of us, and it doesn't mean that your business or your offer is necessarily broken. Have you ever had a launch that felt like a complete disaster? If yes, give this video a like right now. You're definitely not alone. But before we jump into solutions, we need to first separate facts from the stories we're telling ourselves about what happened. Launches are a roller coaster of emotions. You put so much of your energy and time into them, and how you end up feeling day to day in the launch is a direct reflection of how people are responding through sales, engagement, and signups, especially sales. It is the ultimate mind F because of this. When your launch is not working, meaning that you're making no sales, it's easy and only natural to respond emotionally. The whole launch sucked. My audience hates me. My business is broken. When this happens midway through the launch, it impacts your energy and how you continue to show up, usually leading to more of the same, like no sales. Then when you get to the end of the launch, feeling completely defeated and wanting to ignore the epic disaster that's just occurred, the last thing you might feel like doing is asking the real questions about your launch and finding the answers without letting those emotions cloud them. But that's exactly what you actually have to do. You have to find out what actually went wrong, because based on the dozens and dozens of postmortems and launches that I've done, your whole launch didn't suck, right? But we have to look at the numbers to know. Was it a leads and an audience issue, a traffic issue, an offer issue, a messaging issue? Only then can we fix the right things and get your next launch back on track. I've had so many clients with many a botched launch who chose to stick it out, do the work, and have gone on to run the same basic launch, tweaked and optimized and switched out the bad parts to get 5- and 6-figure results. They never would have gotten those results though if they hadn't done this process that I'm going to share with you. So my approach is a post-mortem review of all of the numbers, and then based on those numbers to pick the right response level. But before you begin, you have to be willing to look and grab your numbers first. And I'll just quickly add that this process is not only for launches that have failed, but also for the ones that go well, right? It's just extra imperative when you're at a launch business and audience that are offer crossroads to do your due diligence before making any reactive decisions. So here is the high-level post-mortem process. Step 1, you're going to grab all of your pre-launch numbers, right? So this is the phase of your launch where you're warming your audience up before jumping into launch event invites or sales. If you didn't do a pre-launch phase, ding, 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 we may have just uncovered the issue right there. You want to grab the unique traffic to your pre-launch content, signups to your pre-launch freebie or micro offer if you have one, and identify the portion of your audience who engaged with your pre-launch content, either by signing up for your pre-launch freebie or micro offer, or by clicking on those pre-launch content emails. These people represent your launch interest list. Then step 2, we're going to grab all of your launch event invite numbers. So your launch event is the challenge, the workshop, the video series, the webinar, whether free or paid, that you ran to convert your interest list to your offer. If you didn't run one, another ding, ding, ding chiming off here, we may have just identified the issue as not validating your leads well enough by hosting an event or having enough engagement with your audience going into the sales phase. Well, an email-only launch is well and good. It's more of a one-way conversation campaign than a launch, and the results may reflect that as well. In terms of numbers, you want to know the unique people who arrived on the opt-in page or sales page if it was a paid event, how many people signed up, the conversion rate of that page, how many people showed up live, and how many people watched the replay or the replays. That'll help us identify the issue. Then step 3, grab your sales numbers. So you want to know how many people arrived on the sales page, the unique number, how many people click through to the checkout page, how many people purchased, purchased, or in this case, we know that number is 0, but you have to find where they fell off. And ideally, you did this before you launched your offer, but I find it also really helpful to create a test coupon for your offer and go through each step of the purchase flow and make sure that everything was working, technically speaking. You also want to look back at your sales emails. So what were the opens, the open rates, plus what were the clicks and click-through rates? What portion of clickers were fence sitters, meaning that they click through to the sales page multiple times but didn't end up buying? Then step 4 is analysis time. So looking at the pre-launch number, how many sales should you have had based on the base 1% conversion rate from your interest list? If you had less than 100 people on your pre-launch interest list, one issue to fix is your audience activation and engagement before the launch. So look at the traffic and conversion rate of your pre-launch freebie. Can you see if it was a traffic issue or a conversion issue at that level? Then move on to your launch event. So based on the traffic to your opt-in page or the sales page, was it a traffic issue? And then based on the number of people opting in, was it a leads issue? That would either mean that the opt-in page should be changed, especially the messaging, or maybe the entire launch event was a mismatch for your audience and your offer. How were the show up rates? If those were an issue, it could be the launch event reminders or the pre-engagement phase that was the issue. Finally, moving on to the sales phase, looking at your sales page numbers, was it a traffic issue? So less than a unique 100 people. If numbers were over 100 but still no sales, and we're talking unique, not total visits here, it points to a potential messaging or offer issue, but it could also be an audience issue before you go throwing the offer out with the baby in the bathwater. So were people clicking through to the checkout page but falling off there? It could be a tech issue, or the checkout page needs to be optimized, or an abandoned cart automation introduced. If it was a traffic issue to the sales page, were the emails not performing? Or what touch points were lacking in the launch strategy, whether email, social, or retargeting? Make a list of all of the issues identified by the numbers. So let's talk about the level 1 response, a messaging audit. So most of the launches I review have a messaging problem. I would say like 90% of them, even if that's in conjunction with a traffic issue or a leads issue. Here is our tier by tier messaging response. So the tier 1 fix is to audit each offer of your launch, right? You want to look at the paid offer, aka what you're selling, but you also want to look at the pre-launch freebie offer or micro offer if you're going the paid route, and the launch event as well. So I use a 5P approach when it comes to messaging or auditing the messaging of any offer. So does each of these offers solve a real problem that your audience is struggling with? Do you own a branded process or framework that solves this problem in a unique way? So this would be your signature framework or your methods. Then do you talk about the payoffs, so the results and benefits that come from solving this big problem? And do you back up your claims with proof, either your own journey or those of your clients and customers that you've taken through this process? And the final layer, do you use the words of your person, your ideal client, when talking about the problem, process, payoffs, and proof? So when you're not using their language, you're creating a disconnect between your offer and your audience that makes it much harder to sell it to them. My favorite thing about this 5P messaging framework and audit is how little selling you actually have to do when you do this right. So you don't actually have to hard sell your offer. You just need to hard sell the problem, your process, and the payoffs. That's it. Then your tier 2 fix here is you're going to go through that same 5P process to audit each of your offer's main touch points. So for your paid offer, this is the sales page, the checkout page, the sales emails, the social posts and stories, and retargeting ads, anything that had a direct call to action to your paid offer. Then for your pre-launch freebie and launch event, you'll do the same thing. So you'll look at the opt-in page, the invite emails, the social posts, and stories, plus any paid ads that you ran. So tier 3 fix here is after going through the previous 2 messaging response tiers, you're not 100% solid on what your audience cares about or how they think, feel, and talk about these things, you're going to go talk to them, right? This might be a survey sent to your entire audience asking them things like, what are you struggling with most when it comes to insert your topic area here? If you could wave a magic wand and solve any problem related to insert your topic here, what would you wish for? How would it feel to finally solve that problem? And what have you previously tried to solve this problem? And you're going to entice them to complete the survey by offering a gift or a giveaway draw for completing it. Alternatively, this might look like having 5 to 7 market research interviews with people that fit your ideal client profile, asking the same general questions, but treating each question as a discussion with follow-ups and tangents for like really rich and nuanced feedback. You're going to use these to determine if you have the right offers and offer packaging like bonuses that respond to real objections, and to update your messaging on all of your offer touch points as well. Again, we want to put it in their language, but we also want to make sure it's addressing the actual problems, the actual objections, the actual payoffs that they're looking for. So let's talk about your level 2 response, which is for any time you've identified a traffic issue. There are 3 main things that we can do to address a traffic problem, but this really is one of the simpler and most common issues to fix. So the tier 1 fix here is how many sales did you want to make for this launch? Then we're going to back it up with numbers. So far too often, I see people have this big launch goal, but no clue on what the math means of getting there, what that's actually going to look like. So I want you to take that sales goal and divide it either by your regular conversion rate or the base industry standard of 1%. Then figure out how much traffic we need to reach that in terms of a lead gen goal. Take that lead number you just calculated and divide it by your launch event opt-in page conversion rate. That'll tell us how much unique traffic you need to be driving to that page. Here's an example. So let's say I had a goal of 10 sales in my launch. Based on a 1% conversion rate, that would mean I need 100 leads. And then let's say my launch event opt-in page converts at 40%, meaning I need 2,500 unique visitors to that opt-in page. Not only can this math help you figure out if you have a traffic issue in your launch, it's also key to solving it too. That means next time you need to create a strategy or an ad plan that'll help you get those numbers that you need. The tier 2 fix is I want you to create a strategy for growing your email list with fresh new leads before and in between your launches. This means with the traffic side of things, this helps with the traffic side of things because it means that you're going to have a more engaged email list to invite to your launch event, which almost certainly will increase the uptake of people signing up for your launch event from your invite emails. List attrition is a silent killer. If people have been on your list for a really long time and haven't purchased anything, there's a major chance that a diminishing chance that they ever will. So if before you had 5% of your list signing up for your launch event from your invite emails, with a fresher list, you could have anywhere between 10 to 30% on average signing up. And if people aren't signing up, it's a big wake up call to look at the audience fit with your offer and launch event topic, or consider any time zone or time of day / week issues that might be getting in the way. A good example of this was a client who worked with teachers. She was hosting her launch event during the school day, and shifting it to evenings and weekends made a big impact in how much of her audience was able to sign up and attend. The tier 3 fix is to audit your launch touch points. So this is a biggie I diagnose all the time. The truth is the majority of people need to see your offer many times before they're going to say yes to it, or it's even going to break through their consciousness so they're even aware you're offering it. 2025 data from emailtooltester.com says that people who haven't purchased from you before need anywhere between 20 to 50 touch points before buying. And warm leads, people who've purchased from you before and who are warm on your list, they only need an average of 5 to 12 touch points. So you've got to stack a lot of touch points in order to hit the sales that you're looking for. So be really honest with yourself. Were you phoning it in on your touch points? Were you including enough platforms in your launch strategy to get your offers in front of your audience in a multitude of ways? So time for the level 3 response. This is when you identified through the numbers that you have a leads issue, meaning that you're either not attracting the right leads, you're not validating them, or your landing pages are not converting. The first fix is to revisit your pre-launch strategy. So were people warmed up enough, or did you hit them out of left field with an unexpected offer? So Taylor Swift or Beyonce may be able to drop surprise albums, but do I really need to say it? Ideally, you will have done 2 things. So first, you've planned a 3 to 4 week runway for putting out lots of content, sending emails, and posting about your launch offer topic ahead of time. And 2, during that same time frame, and maybe even earlier, you've grown your email list with new people with a tightly connected pre-launch freebie or pre-launch micro offer that, by signing up for it, tells you that these people are going to be interested in your paid offer too. The main aim of this phase is to identify the subset of your entire email list who's most engaged and interested in the topic before trying to sell it to them. So in this phase, you'll either be reviewing what you did in the pre-launch for the fix, whether it worked, or making sure to include that runway in your next launch. The second fix is to really validate your audience and your leads by switching out your free launch event for a paid version. So this is the right move if you've had a lot of people sign up for the launch event but not buy from it or not show up. Even though you'll have less people signing up for the paid launch event, they'll be more engaged, more invested, and more likely to convert. They've especially shown you that they're willing to pay for a solution to their problem or to reach some goal that really matters to them. It's still really, really important to pick an event that relates closely to the offer that you're going to be selling though. The final fix is to do an overhaul of your opt-in pages and sales page. So make sure that you're only changing things if you didn't have a traffic issue. We don't want to go changing things when you had less than 100 people on that page, or if you've uncovered messaging through the messaging audit that connects much better with your ideal clients, you can change it out then too. The first thing to prioritize is the entire top section of those pages, including the headline, the offer promise, the call to action button, and the cover image, as well as the ribbon. Once you have ruled out traffic, lead, and messaging issues as the culprit of your failed launch, only then is it time to go nuclear with a level 4 response. Fix number 1, do you have the wrong audience for this offer? Or is your list years old with people who have moved on to other things or stages of life or business? If you suspect this is the case, you can clean up your list by removing anyone who hasn't clicked or opened an email in the last 6 months. You could run a re-engagement campaign with emails to those people to let them know, to let you know if they're still interested in solutions to X, and remove anyone who doesn't click. A smaller email list full of engaged and validated people is far, far better than a large list where the majority is not opening emails or even interested in what you offer anymore. At the end of the day, if they aren't opening, they're not buying, and they're costing you deliverability. Fix number 2 is to change up your offer. So go back through the market research from the level 1 messaging response. What do your people actually want your help with? Use this info to design a new offer and launch it as a beta to validate it. It might be that you have the right people, but the delivery and positioning of the offer needs to be adjusted. So can the same content be sold under a more urgent promise? Or can it be reframed for a narrower niche or shorter timeline? For example, maybe you can turn a 30-day intensive or offer a VIP cohort version with coaching. Maybe that was the big objection for them, is that personalized support. Fix number 3 is to switch to one-on-one or done for you for the short term. If your audience isn't ready for DIY, they might need some hand-holding first. So try selling a high-touch version to validate and collect testimonials. Create a back pocket service for qualified leads, so lower marketing lift and faster cash. Think of this as your research and development lab. Prove the offer works live before scaling it to a one-to-many offer. So what now? After you've analyzed your launch and picked the appropriate response level, the key is to not let this latest launch define you, your business, or your offer. Don't let it stop you from launching again. So launch again sooner than you might want to. Treat this last launch as a learning experience and use the fixes to make changes and come up with a plan to address these potential issues next time in your launch in real time. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and hit subscribe to be notified when the next video drops.